What's up, guys? First and foremost, this is not a tutorial on how to make an amazing waystone. This is just how I clear out my map stashes and how I single out what's good, how I make things better, potentially turn a bad map to a good map. First things first, for me personally, quantity is a number one stat, then rarity, then modifiers to rare mobs. You have to understand, modifiers to rare mobs, a lot of people overlook it, is literally if you were to use a distill of isolation, which is the most expensive distill, you would get the extra modifier to rare mobs. Because what it does is add a modifier to the mob, makes it harder, but also that rare mob is going to be a lot stronger and will yield a better drop for you, ideally. And of course, quantity is king because more quantity drop, you more chances to drop stuff. Rarity definitely very good. So first thing I do is I go to a stash. I know a lot of us have plenty of maps. If you run a lot of maps, you get a bunch of them. You're probably rolling an alchemy on them. You're rolling some rarity, and then you're just like throwing it into your map stash and it's accumulated. So once I accumulate mine, this is what I do. I pick out the quantity and the rare maps, and if any of the maps don't have distill yet, I'm gonna distill it with rare monsters. But generally, the quant map and the rare maps already have the quant and rarity in it. So adding more rare monsters means that I'm potentially killing more rare monsters with the modifiers of the quant or the rarity, and that'll yield me potentially better loot. So this is the first phase I do. I grab all the good maps first, distill them, and then I corrupt. In this method, I corrupt everything. And I throw away anything that's T14. I keep everything that's T16, no matter what the modifiers are, because I keep T16 modifiers for a reason. Just to run the map and have a plus with a irradiated map, a level 80 map, and have a +1. I want to have that plus 81 because I'm looking for magic items and white items for crafting. So whenever I need those items for crafting, I run a T16. If it has rarity, has quant, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. I'm running it just so I can get those drops, so I can potentially hit a +2 on a magic glove or 35% magic boots, movement speed on the boots, because those can only drop at eye level 81 and up. And if you're running 79 or 80, you're gonna have a really low chance, unless it's dropping from the boss, that you're gonna have a eye level of that. So if you're like to craft like me, that's how I farm my crafting mats. And 81, eye level 81 up, you'll be potentially get 35% movement speed or +2 melee. And the reason why I look for boots and gloves is because I want to craft, add a delirium on there that will add 100% effects of socket modifiers. If you guys haven't seen those yet, they're like the new ones that they added, and that's why how you can get 55% movement speed boots if you corrupt the boots for 2 sockets. So now that I have corrupted everything, I go through and look and see what the good maps, bad maps, and the first stash I have has already been cleared. So any maps I put in there is going to be either rarity, quantity, or +2 modifiers. So I know that in that stash is all the maps that I've went through already. So I just click it and I'll throw it into the first one. So I'll go through every stash and do the same thing. And what I look for really is rarely quant, or there are some maps where it's like extra magic monsters or extra rare monsters, but there's no quant or rarity or no +2 rare monster modifier. There's really no point in running those. And you're killing more magic monsters and you're killing more rare monsters, but if there's no like rarity modifiers or anything like that, I've ran a bunch of those. It's just shit to me, and it's a waste of time. Whenever I run a map, I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it. And this method for me is the best way to clear my stash. And if you guys are anything like me, you know for a fact that you have at least 400 or 500 maps in your stash. If you run a lot of maps, because generally, if you have a full atlas, you're getting map drops all the time, and sometimes 5 to 10 maps. And if you hit one of those freaking cartographer chests, they give you like 20 maps, so it gets accumulated. And this is how I filter through my maps. So once I'm done taking all the good maps and I corrupted all of them, I keep the good ones and I throw away the bad ones, because sometimes a good map can corrupt to bad, and I just still sell it for gold. T14 sell it for gold. And these now the leftover maps, these are the ones that are not rarity, not quantity. They're probably negative modifiers, temporal chains, all that. I'm gonna corrupt them because corrupting them is cheap, and this is potentially allows you to turn a T15 to a T16. I keep all my T16 regardless of the modifier. Remember, I'm looking for crafting mats when I'm running those. But there's a chance that those negative modifiers, when you corrupt them, will turn into a positive modifier. So I'm gonna corrupt them all. I'm gonna filter out the T16s, T14s. I'm throwing T14s, no matter what the modifier is, because I, I have no use for any of the drops there. You know, the T14 drops are, 79 to 80. My loot filter is strict. I'm only seeing 81, eye level 81 and up, or T5 rare drops. So I'm throwing all of that away. So once you're done corrupting everything, you're gonna look at you're gonna throw away all your T14s, and you're gonna put all your T16s back into the stash. Then you're gonna look through these maps. You're gonna look through these maps, and you're gonna see which one is good, which one is bad. Sometimes they corrupt, reverse corrupt. And that's the whole thing about veiling. Sometimes you veil, it reverses. Bad turns good, good turns bad, and that's the part of the game, RNG. But I do this with every stash. So I'm at the high waystone stash right now. Next time I'm gonna have stash 4 and 5 left, and 6. So by the time I'm done doing this, it takes about 30 minutes. I will be turning 500 map waystones, or 400 waystones down to like 100, potentially 50, 100 probably. And I would probably liquidate a lot of them into gold, and I'll have like maybe 1 million, 2 million gold. So, instead of having these maps sitting in your stash, doing nothing, and having to look through and find certain maps, do this, guys. Just selling everything that's T14. It doesn't matter. They're like 7 grand, and T15 is like 10 to 12,000 gold, and it adds up. And now you look through the maps. Some of these maps maybe they'll roll still negative, so you just throw them away. But you're gonna run into one where it's gonna roll really positive, and you're like, oh wow, that's really nice. So that's one of the perks of having the corruption process. All these maps were just negative modifiers or had no rarity or anything like that. But once you corrupt them, you have potential for them to like flip around. And I think there's one map that it just corrupted amazing. It was like maybe 112 rarity, max quantity at 20%, something like that, and extra rare monsters, extra mods, all prefixes. So prefix mods are the good mods. Suffix mods are the bad mods.
On with the work.
Yes, prefix mods are the good mods, the top mods. You know. So this is how I clear out my stash. I mean, if you're gonna run, like, see this one, it corrupted to rarity. Nice, and sometimes you you find like some really interesting maps. And for me, at higher level too, any negative modifier is not worth you running it, no matter how good the rarity is. Sometimes, unless it's like something like extra mob modifier you're running as a group, something like that, do that. But I don't want to get RNG'd by some mob that had a map modifier that got multiplied from the implicit, and it turned like 500% crit chance, and I just get in there and get hit by a projectile and die instantly, lose 10% of my exp, if not more, if I'm not wearing an omen by accident. See, like that one right there, it just look, these ones are all shit maps that just corrupted really amazing, and sometimes those happen. And sometimes if anything over like 100% gold, I also keep in case for castaway maps. But this one has a unique monsters have additional modifiers. I'm gonna keep that.
What can I
All
do?
right, guys, that's it for me. I'm actually gonna make a video called "Crafting for Casuals," where I make hundreds of dibs easily. Drop a subscribe to keep up to date.
That's cool.
Thanks.